Well, hi everyone. Here's a little Advent meditation that came across to me this morning. So, in the Old Testament, God dwelt with his people, and he asked them to, create a tent to live in, and then eventually a temple where his presence would dwell in the Ark of the Covenant. And so, during that time, there came along Mary, who was a new creature, a new creation, as St. John Paul II said. I think he was quoting Lumen Gentium when he said that Mary was a new creation. And that always struck me. So anyway, so God creates Mary as a worthy dwelling place for his presence in her womb. Just like he gave the instructions, very specific instructions for the tent, the tabernacle actually, and then the tent with the inner holy of holies, and then all the other outside. You could read about that in one of those Old Testament books. I forgot which one. And then the temple itself, was constructed exactly the way God wanted it to be constructed. And so along comes Mary, who we know that she was immaculately conceived, so that the foreseen merits of Christ was applied to her so that she was perfect, without stain, which made sense because she was going to behold God in her womb. And she's also a prefigurement of what Christianity is, because we also are meant to be temples of the Holy Spirit, so that through baptism, we become that dwelling place not made by hands. And so through baptism, we're actually made worthy to now have God dwell in us. So in the Old Testament, God was dwelling with his people. In the New Testament, God inhabits his people. And so we get to carry the King of Kings with us and carry him into the world. But here's the deal. We mess up the house. This temple of ours really gets messy because of personal sin. Original sin God dealt with through baptism. He dealt with that. We're a new creation. But we mess things up, and we really stink up the house with our own personal sins. And so what we need to do is clean the house. We need to clean the house by asking for forgiveness and grow in that true understanding of who we are and who we're called to serve and who we're meant to house within us. Because God now wants to put himself in us and dwell there. He's so excited about dwelling in us, not just in our hearts, but actually in our bodies, because our bodies are holy temples. It's not something that is unworthy of him, that grace covers the dung heap. No, it's completely a new creation. And so even though it may look like the old creation, and may feel like it sometimes, the body aches and all that, but in reality, we're a new creation. And one day we'll put off this old tent and put on the eternal tent of glory. And you actually are there already, because it's like we're seated with Christ right now in faith. And so it's in faith that we're actually there. And so, at Mass we say, Lord, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof. And so I just leave that with you as a meditation, that the next time we say those words and say, Lord, I'm not worthy that you should come under this roof, but only say your word, and my soul shall be healed. My soul shall be cleaned, because it's our contrition and it's his grace. We just say, Lord, I'm sorry. And he's like, no problem. I'll take care of it. And he cleans the house if we allow him. If we give him access to every nook and cranny of our house. I see myself as a house, and he has access to every part of this house. Upstairs, attic, cabinets, basement, everywhere. It's all his, because it's holy, and he wants it. And my joy is to have him come in here and dwell here. And so he said in John 14, I think it was 14, that I am telling you this so that my joy may be in you, and that so your joy may be full and complete. So in order for us to be full of joy is to have him fully in us. And so Jesus also said, those who love me will keep my word. That's also John 14. Those who love me will keep my word, and my Father will love them, and we will come and dwell in them and have their home with us. And sort of like there's this whole incredible promise of God dwelling in us. And so we get that excitement, especially when it comes to Christmas, that we re-invite him in, and we invite him into like this little stable that Joseph cleaned, so there had to have been a cleaning of this stable, this cave, this earthen thing. And so when he cleaned out the dung, and then God came. God was born in a cave, and that cave was glorious. The angels were in the heavens singing glory, glory, and it became a beautiful place. And so the same with us. We have to clean it out, though. And so let's take an extra effort in cleaning out the house and inviting the King of Kings to dwell where he wants to, because he can live anywhere, and he says, I want to live there. And so let's let him live there, and just let his joy be our joy, and so that our joy might be complete. All right, God bless you. Thanks for listening to another edition of My Perspective. Bye-bye.